Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and I'm back with another Canadian benefit update for you. And today we're going to talk about something that applies to absolutely every single person who has ever received any benefit since the start of the pandemic. Whether you received the first iteration of these benefits, that would be CERB and the student version of CERB, the CESB, or if you received these newer benefits such as the Canada Recovery Benefit, the CRB, the CRSB, or the CRCB, if you've received absolutely anything from there, this will apply to you. The CRA just put out a new press release about a piece of mail that they're going to be sending to absolutely every single benefit recipient that you should expect in your mailbox in the next month or two. So we're going to take a look at this press release, and we're going to take a look at a sample version of this piece of mail that you will be getting in your mailbox so you can have an idea of what to expect. Let's go take a look at the CRA's press release. So this is direct from the CRA's website, and this is their newest press release. And this first paragraph here is just talking about which benefits this will apply to, which is all of them. And they're making it clear that, as stated from the beginning, these benefits, which have helped millions of Canadians put food on the table and keep a roof over their head during this crisis, are taxable. This is the key word, and what this new thing you're going to be getting in the mail is centered around. If we scroll down a little bit here, we can see that starting today, Canadians will begin receiving T4A slips from the CRA for these benefits to support their tax filing. The T4A is virtually identical to the T4 slips Canadians are used to receiving from their employers, but rather than employment income, they will provide the amounts of COVID-19 benefits received from the CRA in 2020. And it says here that if you're from Quebec, you're going to receive the T4A and also an RL1 slip, and that these will be sent out in waves over the next couple of months. So you might already be familiar with the T4 slips. Remember, this is something that your employer gives you every single year around tax time to show you how much money you've made from working at that job so that you're able to fill out your taxes properly. As you can probably imagine, people's income pictures for this year are going to look a lot different because usually they'd just be getting income from their jobs, right? You take that income and you use it to fill out your taxes. But this year is a little bit different because of how many people received benefits. So that's going to be actually added to your income and you're going to be taxed on it. The idea is that this new T4A tax slip will give you the proper information regarding the benefits you received so that you can add it to your taxes in the similar way that you would the typical T4 slip. Make sure to stick around to the end of this video because we're actually going to be taking a look at this T4A slip firsthand so you can know exactly what to expect when you open up that envelope from the CRA. I know there are a lot of people out there with anxiety right now around receiving mail from the CRA, especially after they sent out 440,000 educational letters claiming people had to pay money back. If you want to be up to date with that story, check out the link in the description. So the idea is that by talking about this now, maybe you'll be a little bit less anxious when you get that piece of mail. Here are some more quick facts that the CRA put out alongside this press release just to answer some questions that you might have. First off, it says that Canadians who received relief payments but do not get a T4A slip by March 10th need not worry. They may be able to get a copy by using the My Account for Individuals service or contacting the CRA directly. You'll remember that this My Account service is the sort of virtual way that you can log into your CRA account. If you've applied for the benefits online, this is the same account, and it seems that you might be able to get this information online even if you don't receive it in time in the mail. Next up, it says that Canadians who received benefits from Service Canada will receive, instead of the T4A, they'll receive the T4E slip, and that's for employment insurance and other benefits, and they'll get that from Service Canada in order to complete their taxes and benefit returns, and you can contact Service Canada for more information about that slip. The important thing to remember here is that when the CERB first came out, it was actually dispersed by two different government bodies. First off, it was dispersed by the CRA, who have now taken over the CRB side of things, but actually in the beginning, Service Canada also handed out the CERB. So you're likely going to get slips from both if you receive benefits from Service Canada for CERB and have now switched to CRA for the CRB. Man, there's so many acronyms. And then they say that information from a T4E will need to be entered on line 11900 of your 2020 income tax and benefit return. As with a T4A, this information could be entered automatically for individuals who are registered for My Account or use an autofill my return function and file with a NetFile certified software. If that doesn't make the most sense, that's totally okay. NetFile certified software just means that it's a tax software that will sort of automatically do your taxes for you. This works for a lot of people who have simple tax situations with just some employment income, and it can actually auto-generate your tax return in a lot of cases. So you might be able to use that sort of software to sort of bring in this CERB or CRB data in order to do your taxes correctly. It seems like the Canadian government is a little bit concerned about how difficult and potentially confusing tax time will be this year when people receive notices that they're going to have to pay back more than they'd expect because they're not recognizing that the benefits that they've received are also taxable, and they're going to have to give some of that money back at tax time. In her most recent statement, the Employment Minister for Canada, whose name is Carla Qualtrough, she just said that it's going to be difficult for people and it's going to be complex or complicated for the system. And as people file their taxes, we're going to have to figure out what they owe taxes on, what has already been taken taxes off for them. If you claimed both the CERB and the CRB, we took taxes off the CRB, but we didn't for the CERB, and it's incredibly complicated, or at least she feels that a lot of Canadians are going to think it is. If you're somebody who also thinks that this is going to be pretty complicated, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to keep on coming out with updates like this and anything else related to Canadians and their money and how you can sort of navigate these waters that are going on right now. So if you want to stay tuned, make sure to hit those buttons down there. But now let's take a closer look at exactly what this T4A form looks like and what you will expect to see when you open up that mail. So here I've got my hands on a PDF version of this T4A that you're going to be receiving. Now this one isn't filled out with any information, so yours will look a little bit different because in these spaces there will actually be numbers. And it seems that in some of these boxes it's going to show how much money you've received from each individual benefit so that you can sort of lump up all of this income together and put it onto your tax return so that you are paying the proper amount back to the government that they're expecting of you. Now, of course, we're going to look at this in more depth when it starts hitting Canadians' mailboxes and they have to start navigating what these documents actually mean for them and how much money they're going to have to pay back. But at least for now, I wanted to give you a quick look at it and let you know that likely in some of these boxes, maybe down here or down here, depending on how they alter it for these benefits, it would show you, or most likely will show you, how much you're going to have to enter on top of your income for your taxes. Now, when it comes to how much money you actually owe, it's likely that this document won't tell you that. In order to calculate this, I actually made a video on how you can find out how much you're going to owe, so I'll link that down in the description for you to take a look at if you're concerned about how much money you need to have saved up for tax time because you received all these extra benefits. And I'm actually predicting that things are going to get a little bit more complicated as we move forward because of how certain other issues are developing. You'll remember way back when it first broke that people were given these education letters that they had to pay back the entirety of their CERB. We've sort of followed that story here on the channel, but there have been no hard answers on whether or not people are actually going to have to pay this back. We're going to talk more about it in future videos here, but it seems that some people will get these T4As, but they might be opting to not pay back some of this money, or maybe they will have to pay it back and this T4A will be rendered null and void. So as we navigate this sort of confusing situation, I'm going to keep on posting updates right here. And I'd love for you to help me out a little bit. I use my comment section as a sort of way to recognize when people are getting documents or when new information is coming out. So if you receive this in your mailbox, let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you think of anything else that needs to be covered when it comes to this sort of confusing financial time that Canadians are facing, let me know down there. I read all of my comments and I reply to as many as I possibly can. So if you want your voice to be heard, drop a comment down there. And if you found this video helpful in any way, consider sharing it with somebody who also might find it helpful. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.